Hello and welcome to the next conversation under the Diversity, Inclusion and Belonging Committee series, where we get to know our colleagues in ways that you would not normally be able to in your day-to-day transactions. So my name is Aaron Yip. I'm the Chief Underwriting Officer of Berkley Insurance Asia and also a member of WRB's DIB committee. On behalf of the committee, I would like to welcome Juan Lee, who is responsible for Berkley Insurance Asia's marine business. She was actually recognized as one of the top 3 most influential underwriters in the world by Lloyd's list, a recognition surely to be proud of. So we wanted to get to know the person behind the award to learn more about what's it like being a marine leader and underwriter in the Asia region. So welcome, Juan, and thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you, Aaron, and I'm happy to be here. And a big thank you to the DIB committee for giving us in Asia a platform to share a bit about our business.
Well, that's great. I think it's going to be a great conversation. So look, let's just start with this big news on the award from Lloyd's list. Can I ask, what was your first reaction to hearing about being awarded this recognition by Lloyd's, and actually, what did your family think about it?
It was actually last November, Aaron. I was on my first holiday since COVID, and I received a text congratulating me. I thought it was a mistake until I received a second text. This is such an incredible honor to be named on the Lloyd's list. As you know, marine insurance started at the Lloyds of London, and they remain a dominant force in the global markets till today. There's only ever been a handful of Asians who's received this accolade, so it's a special moment for me, but also a humbling one. I think of all the people who were part of my development through the years. And as they say, you can see far only because you stand on the shoulders of giants. So I am grateful to my many teachers and to those who have given me their support and trust to extend myself. But back to your question, my husband has always been supportive of my career and he is extremely proud. My children, well, they probably thought if mommy can get this award, her job can't be all that hard.
Oh, kids. Now, look, I've known you, Juan, for 25 years, I think, or more, but I don't think I've ever asked you, how did you even get started as a marine underwriter? I mean, did you have love for ships as a kid?
Well, it was not quite so smooth sailing, pardon the marine pun. I was actually in business school and I planned to study marketing or banking. Sent me instead into insurance. One thing led to another. My lecturer had me interview at his firm and I was told to start before I knew it. So my career started with writing accident and health of corporate accounts and direct marketing to affinity groups. And after a year, I requested a transfer to the commercial P&C departments. I handled multinational programs, which provided an excellent exposure to all P&C lines, including marine. So eventually I settled at marine. And when the marine manager resigned, I sort of held it together till they promoted me. So as you can see, it turned out to be a stroke of good luck.
Ah, right. Well, as you were starting out as a marine underwriter, was there sort of a aha moment that made you think that this is the career for me? I mean, when you had the opportunity, obviously, to take that marine portfolio, what led you to sort of think, oh, well, this is something I could do for the long haul?
It actually took me a long time and a roundabout way to find that aha moment. And to continue with my story, after 6 years in insurance and before I had turned 30, I left the industry. To give you some context, this was perhaps 20 odd years ago, and Singapore was very much a domestic market. I could not see myself working in a small marketplace doing the same thing for the next 30 years. So I joined a telco in their sales and marketing unit. It was day and night, if I could say that. A young team bringing with energy, and it was needed because the industry and the products refreshed faster than you can learn them. But one thing kept coming back to me, and that was the lack of control over the products I represented. I could not control the service levels, or when the service went down, I could only apologize to my clients. And all this rectification work was on someone else. I could do nothing about it. Here, I have control over the product, its design and the wordings. Of course, you do need to have a deep technical knowledge of your product, and you need to understand what's available in the marketplace, as well as your customer's business and his pain points. And when I returned to the industry, it was an opportune moment because Singapore had become a reinsurance hub. We served markets across Asia, and this opened up many different learning opportunities, as well as many different types of goods and what their issues are. I mean, out of Malaysia and Indonesia, which are the world's largest palm oil producers, I learned about that. Thailand imports a great amount of feed meal. This would be corn or soya, mostly from Brazil and Argentina. Singapore is now a petroleum trading hub. China's the world's largest manufacturer. So many different products with their own characteristics, different routes. There was always something new to learn. I was also reminded that there have been seasonal issues throughout this period, right? We have pirates in the Straits of Malacca for us here, and in Somalia, where you even had a movie starring Tom Hanks called Captain Philip's Mate. Quite recently, the world was captivated when the vessel Ever Given blocked the Suez Canal, and that disrupted trade between Europe and Asia. We still have COVID, and that had shut down ports and logistics, and it forced the largest and best companies in the world to rethink their distribution models from just in time to just in case. And the war in Ukraine has further disrupted the supply chain. So as marine underwriters, there are many moments that you have different challenges along the way. You think about the current affairs, you think about economics, and you navigate this business. What do we pivot to now, for instance, when commodity prices are spiking? But how do we plan for the future with, say, green technology and clean energy? And that's just cargo insurance. At Berkley Asia, we also insure marine liabilities, and this is the liabilities for freight forwarders, terminal operators, ship repairers, and we also insure hull, which is the ship and its machinery. So many aha moments validating my stay in marine insurance. I think there's enough breadth and depth to keep anyone engaged and challenged for years to come.
Wow, I mean, that's quite a broad kind of description about the business as well, which also mirrors, I think, the rise of trade, globalization, economic shocks, and the, just the sheer logistics growth of the business, which indicates how, it's great that you did come back to the world of marine. When you think about leadership, though, in the context of the business that you have, what comes to mind? How do you keep the team and keep the business and the relationships in Asia, which I understand is pretty broad?
I have a team in Singapore and in Hong Kong. We have underwriters and we have business support officers. For me, it's very much like running a family or a household. You must firstly have a clear idea of where you're going. So we have goals for the team and goals for the individuals. And the individuals should be able to see how their contribution build upwards into the team's goals. Then, like parents at home, good leaders have a genuine desire to see the individuals achieve success. So you give them time and space to stretch, you challenge them to grow, and you nudge them along the way. As you put the individual strengths to the best use, you also push to develop where they are short. So you spend time developing their mindsets and skill sets and building resilience. You also operate with a lot of communication and transparency. So there will be conflicts or quarrels from time to time, and issues have to be brought out into the open for discussion. As a leader, I recognize you can't please everyone, but you can certainly explain the rationale. And if everyone becomes a better version of themselves with you, and they all pull in the same direction, you have a winning formula and a happy team. Along the way, do not forget to look out for your siblings who are your peers, and take care of your parents who are your bosses. So you have a happy office, and a clear goal, you can accomplish great things.
That's great. Hey, Joanne, we do get this question quite a bit, in terms of just how is business conducted in Asia? Is it really different from other parts of the world, or are there, kind of common themes that you see? Your business is extremely global. You're dealing with, people from around the world, and clearly, with the recognition of Lloyd's, you're now on that stage as well. So maybe, share with us your thoughts around, what's it like doing business in Asia?
A lot of people may mistake thinking of Asia as one large territory. They expect if they do well in one country, they can replicate that and quickly have successful businesses all across Asia. Well, I'm living in one of the most multinational places in Asia, and I'm still learning about doing business in Asia. Asia consists of about 50 countries, and we have two of the most populous countries in the world, China and India, and they operate very. Asia is home to 60% of the world's population, a lot of them young and mobile, but they produce only 40% of the world's output. So there are lots of spaces for growth if you had the right people at the right places. Many of the countries have their own language, characteristics, and cultures, and they expect to do business in their own ways. Singapore is an easy place to start because we've been a melting pot for many immigrants over the years, and growing up here lets you experience many of these cultures. When Singapore started being a reinsurance hub, I had the opportunity to work with different countries and to learn the different nuances. In some cultures, people are very polite and they might say yes, but you do not achieve the results you expect. In other cultures, you have to be very, very clear and concise because you do not want your politeness to be mistaken for a yes. But if there's one commonality, Aaron, is that relationships are key in every market we work in. These relationships are formed and developed over many years and many interactions. So one has to be patient. I do remember being told, trying to get onto a very prominent account that has run profitably, that I had to queue and to wait my turn. So I waited for 5 years and nothing happened. But once we hired the person with the right relationships, we got onto the program the very next year. So relationships are truly key to doing business in Asia.
Yeah, I guess two things on there really. Certainly one size does not, fit all, and you sort of said Asia's, over 50 countries, but there are, at least 50 different ways of doing business in that. And with that background, though, the relationships are so important. And can I ask, I suppose, with setting up Berkley in Asia 5 years ago, what was some of the thinking behind that in terms of why did you choose to start up with Berkley in the business of marine and to build this business out in Asia? What was going through your mind at that time?
I've worked many years in large corporates. I wanted a startup experience. I wanted to develop a book of business from scratch. So we started from scratch in Asia, although Berkley provides a very big name and big backing. From the get-go, I could map out the way forward, decide on the products to onboard, and determine our underwriting appetites. So the empowerment was fantastic and exactly what we needed. I could also build my team. So we could bring on people who shared the same vision and appreciated the freedom and space to spread their wings to develop business and themselves. So today, I'm proud to say we have a team of vastly different skill sets, people with different product knowledge, and with different networks and relationships. Sashi's been very supportive and the platform's been great. I must say, though, that I do miss the international contacts and resources we would normally find in many large insurers. One of the first things I did, though, when I joined was to search out the other marine underwriters in the group. I did find some of them, but it's true, we are too few.
Too few, but certainly very impactful, Joanne. So, hey, let me ask you, maybe as the last question, just something a bit more personal. You've often left a very deep and positive impression on the people who actually meet you. You describe it as vibrant, energetic, fast, optimistic. ever questioning, very intelligent, but what's it like in the Lee household? Is that the kind of conversations between you and the family as well?
Aaron, I'm not someone who can sit still. So my main exercise is jogging, and I clocked in like 1,200 kilometers last year. So when I'm running, my mind often finds a problem and starts processing a solution. Sometimes it's work issues, and sometimes they are home issues. So to give you an example, my husband runs a team of financial planners, and I would think about how I could help him get closer to his team of planners or his clients. Could I host dinners at home, have them bond? Then my children come to mind, and they might tell me what happened in school. And I would think if it's time to engage a tutor, meet some parents, or meet some teachers. So it never stops. So we have a lot of fun at home, always a lot of activity, and it's always buzzing. At this juncture, maybe, Aaron, let me just ask you as well. We've talked about Asia, we've talked about leadership, we've talked about joining and setting up Berkley Asia. What are your thoughts around some of these issues?
Well, I think we just finished our 5th year, we're into our 6th year. I think this journey has been amazing. You talked about trust, you talked about relationship. I think Greenwich has given us a lot of that, the trust, the support to start up a business in Asia. And I think it goes back to what you were saying about having, control and relevance about products and about service. I think, after, 20 years in the business, for you and for me, we felt that there was an opportunity here, and, to do something different and not have one size fits all is a very wide, diverse region with lots of opportunities. It continues to grow. So, my key takeaway is, we're just getting started, and what a privilege it is to be involved in a startup. It's not something that we could see in ourselves in other, opportunities that potentially could have come our way, 5-6 years ago. So yeah, it's been a great journey, and I think we, as I said, we're just getting started.
Many more things to do in the next 5 years.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Joanne, look, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And on behalf of the DIB committee, thank you for sharing your perspectives on Asia, on marine, and on leadership. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you to the DIB committee as well.